During a party in New York City in 1998, Melania Trump, an ordinary Slovenian girl, instantly fell in love with a real estate mogul, Donald Trump, and their lives have completely changed since then. They got married and Melania became one of the most recognized women in the world, but the couple's life hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows. How did they meet, and what do their lives and kids look like now? Let's find out. Melania Trump was born on April 26, 1970 in Novo Mesto, Slovenia. Her childhood was not particularly blissful because her parents were ordinary workers with no wealth attached to their name. Her father, Viktor Novs, was an ordinary worker and sold car parts for a state-owned vehicle manufacturer. Her mother, Amalia Novs, worked in a textile factory designing children's clothing. Melania may not have fit into the beauty standards of that time, but she was very smart and hardworking. From a young age, she showed a keen interest in fashion and design, which she picked up from watching her mom. She had seen her mother work with fabrics and quickly learned to customize and sew her own clothes, developing a valuable skill. Her passion for fashion only grew stronger as she excelled in school. Despite their modest means, her parents supported her interests, sending her to study design and architecture at the University of Ljubljana. At just 16 years old, Melania began her modeling career. She was discovered by Slovenian fashion photographer Stane Jerko after modeling in a school-sponsored show. Though her dream was to be a fashion designer, fate had other plans. She got her first shot into the limelight when she won a modeling contest with the Italian studio Cinecittà, which came with a movie role offer. But she had to let that go after a producer made inappropriate advances. From this point, Melania was known as Melania Naus, no longer Novs, and began traveling for modeling gigs all over Europe. At age 22, she was named runner-up in the JANA Magazine Look of the Year contest, which was her first international modeling contract. She spent the next few years traveling and modeling for top fashion houses and even portraying the first female president of the United States in a 1993 photo shoot. Little did she know she'd end up in the White House several years later. After her 23rd birthday, Melania relocated to Paris, where she shared an apartment with roommate Victoria Silvstedt. It was here in Paris that she met Paolo Zampolli, a friend of Donald Trump, who would become a long-term mentor. Zampolli encouraged Melania to move to the United States, where she could further her career. Even though she had now been modeling for about 10 years, she was still not very popular or successful. So in 1996, Melania heeded Zampolli's advice and moved to Manhattan, living with photographer Matthew Antonian in Union Square. Her big break came when she posed for a Camel cigarette ad shot by Ellen von Unwerth, which was displayed as a Times Square billboard. Melania Naus's life changed forever when she met Donald Trump at a party hosted by Paolo Zampolli 2 years after moving to the US. Trump was accompanied by his date, Selena Middelfart, but his eyes were on Melania the whole night. When he asked for her number, she refused, instead asking him to give her his. He passed the test by giving her multiple personal numbers. Their first date was a week later, and Melania played it cool, testing Trump's interest. What she didn't know was Trump's personality and values were similar to her father's, and their physical appearance was also strikingly similar. As they started dating, Melania had access to Trump's book, which revealed what he wanted in a relationship. She used this knowledge to her advantage, building a connection with him. But their relationship wasn't without its ups and downs. Melania left Trump after seeing his ex, Kara Young, leaving Trump Tower, and even though she didn't have the details about their meeting, she broke things off with him. They reunited the following week. In 1999, the couple made headlines after a provocative interview with Howard Stern. Stern asked her a series of intimate questions about what she was wearing and her sex life with Donald, which was inappropriate. It was rumored that this interview led to a conflict between the couple and was the reason Melania slapped Donald's hand away in a clip that went viral that month. When Trump announced his presidential candidacy, Melania supported him wholeheartedly, even though Trump had never really involved her in his business dealings prior to that. She told the New York Times that she'd be a traditional first lady like Betty Ford or Jackie Kennedy. Melania's association with Trump brought her even more fame. She appeared in several magazines and advertisements, including the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. A year in, she became a sought-after model. The couple broke up in 2000, but reunited a few months later. This time, their reunion led to a more lasting commitment. Melania received her green card in 2001 and moved in with Trump in 2002. On April 26, 2004, Donald Trump proposed to Melania Naus on her birthday as they were leaving for the Met Gala. She was the perfect partner for Trump, confident yet supportive. He made her sign a prenuptial agreement, and they began planning their wedding. Their wedding was a grand affair, with a ceremony at Bethesda by the Sea Church in Palm Beach, Florida, followed by a reception at Mar-a-Lago. Melania wore a stunning John Galliano dress that had been featured on the cover of Vogue. After the wedding, the Trumps split their time between 3 residences: Trump Tower, Trump National Golf Club Bedminster, and Mar-a-Lago. But it was not always a bed of roses. As a couple, they didn't spend much time together, preferring to live adjacently. Trump worked long hours, and Melania accepted this, focusing on her own life and raising their son Barron. Melania became a stepmother to Trump's 4 children and formed a close bond with Tiffany, his daughter from his second marriage. After the birth of her first son, Barron, Melania dedicated herself to raising him and stayed out of the public spotlight. On January 20th, 2017, following Trump's inauguration, Melania Trump became the First Lady of the United States. She was the only First Lady in almost 200 years to be born outside the US, and the only First Lady whose native language isn't English. She was also the most linguistically gifted First Lady in American history, speaking 6 languages. Melania's transition to First Lady wasn't without its challenges. Her first major scandal occurred in May 2017 when she showed up at the yearly G7 summit in Catania, Italy, wearing a $51,500 Dolce & Gabbana jacket. Citizens slammed her for wearing an outfit that costs more than what some Americans earn in a year. In response, she had to substitute her high fashion style for simpler clothing, a sacrifice that came with being the First Lady. Also, her decision to stay in Manhattan with their son Barron, rather than move immediately to Washington, D.C., sparked speculation that her stepdaughter Ivanka might take on the role of acting First Lady. She was often at odds with the media, especially due to her husband's policies. Melania channeled her energies into making a positive impact, focusing on issues that affected children, including cyberbullying and childhood obesity. When Donald Trump came up with the family separation policy, officially known as the Zero Tolerance Policy, in 2018, thousands of children were separated from their parents at the US-Mexico border as a result of prosecuting all illegal border crossings. Melania Trump publicly opposed the policy and convinced the president to end the practice. She is very family-oriented, and this is seen in how protective she is of her son Barron, whom she tries to keep away from the spotlight. The young lad, who is now 18, tends to shy away from the public eye, making few public appearances. When he was chosen to represent Florida as a delegate at the Republican National Convention in July 2024, he regretfully declined due to prior commitments. As of now, Barron Trump has completed his high school education at St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Potomac, and many are curious about his next steps, particularly regarding where he will attend college. While the Trumps have not publicly disclosed Barron's college plans, speculation includes prestigious universities such as Georgetown, where Tiffany Trump studied law, or even Ivanka Trump's alma mater, the University of Pennsylvania. His father revealed in an interview that Barron had been accepted everywhere he applied because he's a very smart guy. Barron seems to be the only Trump, aside from his mother, who is not so politically inclined. His step-siblings Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Tiffany, and Ivanka are all fully involved in their father's political ambitions. During Donald Trump's presidency, Ivanka served as a senior advisor, focusing on issues such as women's economic empowerment, job creation, and workforce development. Eric is an executive vice president of the Trump Organization, overseeing its golf courses and other properties. Tiffany has not been as publicly involved in her father's business or political career as her older siblings, but she has made appearances at key events and supported her father's campaigns. Today, though no longer a First Lady, Melania Trump continues to support her husband's political ambitions, though not publicly. According to Trump, Melania is a private person, and he likes to keep her away from campaigning because it's so nasty and mean. Love stories about billionaires are interesting, right? Do you want to know the love story with a sad ending of Elon Musk and Grimes? Click on this video.